I thought I was bulletproof, and I wasn't. Because I was probably traveling about 70 miles an hour in a 55 zone, and a lady pulled out in front of me. So I swerved to get around her, and she clipped the back of my vehicle. The vehicle just went to rolling, and it was rolling and rolling and rolling. I didn't have my seatbelt on, and I was bouncing from floorboard to ceiling, side to side. And I'm thinking, when is this all going to quit? And then it just felt like somebody hit me over the back of the head. And then the van quit rolling, and I was in the floorboard, and I'm thinking, get up. And I couldn't get up, and it seemed like my chin was in my knees, but I'm thinking, just get up, get up, get up. They ended up flying me to Dallas, and I think 2 days after that I had surgery. And they told me that my spinal canal was the width of a dime. Sometimes I'll look at a dime and I'll think about that. You go from being able to tie your shoes to not being able to scratch your nose overnight. That changes everything. It changes your whole attitude towards everything. Yeah, the doctor said I might be able to use my hands, but more than likely I wouldn't be able to ever walk again. And I remember going, whatever, I'm going to. And I did. But I had to learn to crawl before I could walk. It was doing the whole process over again at 26 years old. My dad, bless his heart, he's not the shopper of the group. He just went to a Target. He bought me these shoes. I remember us all laughing at these shoes because they just didn't look like anything I would wear. But I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I wore these shoes every day in this rehab treatment center. And that's the shoes that I wore to take my first steps in, which is, I've always held on to these shoes. Spiritually, I wasn't there. I was glad to be alive, and I prayed every night. I knew her dad was a preacher, and then I knew he was a Church of Christ preacher, and I'd always heard, Church of Christ, ooh. And I started going to church with him, on a weekly basis. I was working. I was stocking the store. I reached in the cooler, pulling the facings up. There was a note card, and I thought it was a piece of trash. And I pulled it out, and when I pulled it out, I could tell that a little kid had wrote it. That said, when the time comes, will you be ready? Maybe this is the light bulb that is going off. Maybe it's time now. And it wasn't 2 days later, I lived in the country and had an old stock tank that was bone dry. It wouldn't hold water. Well, it rained one day. It rained 4 inches in 2 hours. It just came a flood in the afternoon. And that next morning I got up and I was driving to work, and you could see the tank from the road, and it was brim full. And I knew this tank wouldn't hold water that long, so I told myself, it's now or never. And I got home and I told Julie about it, and her parents happened to be over the next day. And I told Julie, I said, I think I want your dad to baptize me out there. We went out there that next day. It was the best experience of my life. That and the birth of my 2 kids. It's changed my life so much. It's made me a better person. He's my hope for life, because I think if everybody would know what I know, the world would be better. Everybody would treat each other better if Jesus was in their life.